It is in your hands to create a better world for all who live in it. It only seems impossible until it's done. Fools multiply when wise men are silent. Blaming things in the past does not make them better. Living isn't just about doing for yourself, but what you do for others as well. Love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. There is nothing more dangerous than a humiliated man. Exercise is the key not only to physical health but to peace of mind. Thinking is one of the most important weapons in dealing with problems. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. Great anger and violence can never build a nation. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. When the water starts boiling, it is foolish to turn off the heat. There is no easy walk to freedom anywhere. Overcoming poverty is not a gesture of charity. It is an act of justice. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. There is no future without forgiveness. I was not born with a hunger to be free. I was born free. Where you stand depends on where you sit. Peace is the greatest weapon for development that any person can have. The day I am afraid to do, that is the day I am no longer fit to lead. Remember to celebrate milestones as you prepare for the road ahead. Let freedom reign. The sun never set on so glorious a human achievement. A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. It is not where you start but how high you aim that matters for success. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself. We know what needs to be done, all that is missing is the will to do it. No power on this earth can destroy the thirst for human dignity. We can't win a war, but we can win an election. Courageous people do not fear forgiving, for the sake of peace. We know it well that none of us acting alone can achieve success. Disabled children are equally entitled to an exciting and brilliant future. Great peacemakers are all people of integrity, of honesty, but humility. The most difficult matter is not so much to change the world as yourself. History will judge us by the difference we make in the everyday lives of children. The wounds that cannot be seen are more painful than those that can be treated by a doctor. Do not judge me by my success, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. A new society cannot be created by reproducing the repugnant past, however refined or enticingly repackaged. I say to all those leaders, do not look the other way. Do not hesitate. It is within your power to avoid a genocide of humanity. Take it upon yourself where you live to make people around you joyful and full of hope. I want to sleep for eternity with a broad smile on my face. I want those who remain behind to say this man has done his duty. When I walked out of the gate, I knew that if I continued to hate these people, I was still in prison. Freedom is meaningless if people cannot put food in their stomachs, if they can have no shelter, if illiteracy and disease continue to dog them. Few things make the life of a parent more rewarding and sweet as successful children. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. We must use time wisely and forever realize that the time is always ripe to do right. When you are behind bars with no hope of release, you need to find strength wherever you can. Personally, I found strength in Michael Jackson. Everyone can rise above their circumstances and achieve success if they are dedicated to and passionate about what they do. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Out of the experience of extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long, must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. There is nothing more important in life than giving. Tolerance is forged when people look beyond their own desires. Resentment is like a glass of poison that a man drinks. Then he sits down and waits for his enemy to die. It is not beyond our power to create a world in which all children have access to a good education. It never hurts to think too highly of a person. Often they become ennobled and act better because of it. For me, survival is the ability to cope with difficulties, with circumstances, and to overcome them. Live life as though nobody is watching, and express yourself as though everyone is listening. After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. Part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed toward the sun, one's feet moving forward. It is in the character of growth that we should learn from both pleasant and unpleasant experiences. One cannot be prepared for something while secretly believing it will not happen. One of the most difficult things is not to change society, but to change yourself. The call now is for each of us to ask ourselves, are we doing all we can to help build the country of our dreams? As long as poverty, injustice, and gross inequality persist in our world, none of us can truly rest. You mustn't compromise your principles, but you mustn't humiliate the opposition. No one is more dangerous than one who is humiliated. When a man is denied the right to live the life he believes in, he has no choice but to become an outlaw. Young people are capable, when aroused, of bringing down the towers of oppression and raising the banners of freedom. Once a person is determined to help themselves, there is nothing that can stop them. There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. Forgiveness liberates the soul. It removes fear. That is why it is such a powerful weapon. If you want the cooperation of humans around you, you must make them feel they are important, and you do that by being genuine and humble. We can change the world and make it a better place. It is in your hands to make a difference. If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. The new world order that is in the making must focus on the creation of a world of democracy, peace, and prosperity for all. Our fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. The brave man is not the one who has no fears, he is the one who triumphs over his fears. I like friends who have independent minds because they tend to make you see problems from all angles. As I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. Those who conduct themselves with morality, integrity, and consistency need not fear the forces of inhumanity and cruelty. You can start changing our world for the better daily, no matter how small the action. If I am your leader, you have to listen to me, and if you don't want to listen to me, then drop me as your leader. Never, never and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. Learn to know yourself, to search realistically and regularly the processes of your own mind and feelings. There can be no greater gift than that of giving one's time and energy to help others without expecting anything in return. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. When we dehumanize and demonize our opponents, we abandon the possibility of peacefully resolving our differences, and seek to justify violence against them. The past is a rich resource on which we can draw in order to make decisions for the future, but it does not dictate our choices. We should look back at the past and select what is good, and leave behind what is bad. Safety and security don't just happen, they are the result of collective consensus and public investment. We owe our children, the most vulnerable citizens in our society, a life free of violence and fear. People tend to measure themselves by external accomplishments, but jail allows a person to focus on internal ones, such as honesty, sincerity, simplicity, humility, generosity, and an absence of variety. You learn to look into yourself. A freedom fighter learns the hard way that it is the oppressor who defines the nature of the struggle, and the oppressed is often left no recourse but to use methods that mirror those of the oppressor. At one can only fight fire with fire. Freedom alone is not enough without light to read at night, without time or access to water to irrigate your farm, without the ability to catch fish to feed your family. The world remains beset by so much human suffering, poverty, and deprivation. It is in your hands to make of our world a better one for all, especially the poor, vulnerable, and marginalized. As I have said, the first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself. Great peacemakers are all people of integrity, of honesty, but humility. Running taught me valuable lessons. In cross-country competition, training counted more than intrinsic ability, and I could compensate for a lack of natural aptitude with diligence and discipline. I applied this in everything I did. Our children are the rock on which our future will be built, our greatest asset as a nation. They will be the leaders of our country, the creators of our national wealth, those who care for and protect our people. I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom, just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. A garden was one of the few things in prison that one could control. To plant a seed, watch it grow, to tend it then harvest it, offered a simple but enduring satisfaction. The sense of being the custodian of this small patch of earth offered a taste of freedom. There is a universal respect and even admiration for those who are humble and simple by nature, and who have absolute confidence in all human beings irrespective of their social status. The curious beauty of African music is that it uplifts even as it tells a sad tale. You may be poor, you may have only a ramshackle house, you may have lost your job, but that song gives you hope. If our expectations, if our fondest prayers and dreams, are not realized, then we should all bear in mind that the greatest glory of living lies not in never falling but in rising every time you fall. There are leaders who know that however furious the debate, there are good men and women in all population groups, amongst blacks, amongst whites, and amongst Afrikaans and English-speaking people. To the youth of today, I also have a wish to make. Be the scriptwriters of your destiny and feature yourselves as stars that showed the way towards a brighter future.